young men and women, mothers and fathers, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to warmly welcome you to this inaugural symposium on externalization of labor under the theme Promoting Safe and Productive Labor Migration. The objective of this symposium and expo is knowledge sharing about employment of Uganda migrant workers abroad. We are here also to share experiences and best practices, but also to explore virgin areas, to discuss and interact on issues that are affecting this industry. We therefore, as a ministry and as we were, have the gratitude to welcome all of you and thank you for finding time to come. I would like now to invite Mr. Andrew Kameraho, the chairperson Uwera, to come and welcome you here. Mr. Chairperson.
I can use one.
Honorable Janet Mkwaya, Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mr. Pius Bigirimana, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, the representative of IRO, the Director, Labour, and the team from Ministry of Labour, distinguished members of the executive of UERA, and all the other distinguished members of UERA, distinguished guests present, I would like to take this opportunity and welcome you this morning, this very important event, that is a symposium and expo about externalization of labor in Uganda. You are all most welcome. The preamble of my speech was prepared expecting that His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, would be here. Some of you may already have copies because it's already printed and it's on PowerPoint. So I would, I think, leave up the preamble and go to the gist of the matter. Allow me, distinguished guests, Honourable Minister and distinguished guests, to, in a special way, thank the Minister of Labour, who is here with us, for, first of all, coming up with the idea of having the symposium, advising us to have this symposium, because certainly she may have seen the need that we needed the symposium. There was a gap in our business, and she advised us to arrange and have plan and therefore organize this symposium. I would like to thank her very much for that idea. And of course, thank the team at the Ministry of Labour, the National Organizing Committee, including, it was a joint committee composed of officials from the Ministry of Labour and UERA, Uganda Association for External Recruitment Agencies. This team worked tirelessly to ensure that this event comes to realization. And therefore, I would move to the status of labor. Allow me at this point, Honourable Minister, distinguished guests, to make a submission about the status of externalization of labor. The idea of externalizing labor in developing countries was born as a result of high levels of unemployment, especially the employable unemployed youth in their home countries. And under pressure to create jobs for their unemployed people, governments or individuals in less developed countries started looking for employment opportunities abroad. Whether in developed or developing countries like Uganda, it is a known fact that remittances from externalization of labor have over the years contributed a lot to poverty reduction. Realizing the economic benefit from externalizing labor of the employable citizens who are unemployed in their home countries, the government of Uganda saw sense in putting in place an enabling regulatory environment through which we legally externalize our unemployed and underemployed Ugandans. It is as a result of this common sense realization that the establishment of the External Employment Unit was effected. The externalization of labor was formalized when the External Employment Unit was created in the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, responsible for labor by Statutory Instrument number 62 of 2005, the employment recruitment of Ugandan migrant workers abroad. This was done to enhance coordination, regulation, licensing of private recruitment agencies, and facilitating access to job opportunities abroad. As a result of this policy, labor externalization is organized and streamlined, which makes Uganda able to compete favorably in the international job market and to protect Ugandans who exit officially for employment abroad. I emphasize exit officially for employment abroad. Externalization of labor is promoted in line with ILO, International Labour Organization standards, as an interim measure to facilitate able-bodied Ugandans to tap into the job markets abroad as the country develops its capacity to generate sufficient jobs for its labour force. Socio-economic benefits include the following. 1. Economic emancipation and wealth creation, acquisition of skills and experience, exposure and establishment of business contacts. At this point, can we welcome His Excellency the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He is a great partner in this endeavor. In our case, Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies, UERA, was established in 2013 and has a membership of 101 companies. UERA's main objectives include the following. 1. To unite and offer a common platform to all companies licensed under the Labour Externalization Program to operate under one umbrella, share information, improve cooperation with partners, stakeholders in the promotion of safe, legal and gainful employment abroad. 2. To ensure protection of Ugandan externalized workers, observation of their human rights and welfare in accordance with international labour standards and laws. 3. To self-regulate, ensure adherence to the Code of Conduct, laws, regulations and guidelines set by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. 4. To ensure transparency within ourselves, amongst ourselves, sensitize and build confidence in the public. This is what we're doing today, for example, and make the sector attractive and sustainable. There are 3 categories of destinations for Ugandan migrant workers. 3 categories of destinations for Ugandan migrant workers. Category number 1 is the war zones. These include Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. These are specifically intended for trained soldiers, people who are trained to fight as soldiers. Number 2, you have the safe zones, and these include In this category, it includes Saudi Arabia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. Uganda has signed bilateral labor agreements with the two countries indicated above, whereby male workers get free visas and free air tickets. They pay for local requirements. In some cases, they may have to pay for local requirements, for example, passports, training, when and if necessary, medical tests, Interpol, yellow fever vaccination, etc. Maximum amount usually would not exceed Uganda shillings 2 million. When it comes to female workers going to Saudi Arabia or Jordan, they are not required to pay an amount of money, because as you members of UERA know, the agreements in place, and this matter is clearly explained, is stipulated in those agreements. The costs, the placement costs, are met by the employers on the other side, in the destination countries. Number 3, the third category includes the following countries, among others: United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, etc. Most jobs from these countries are secured through employment agencies. These are companies established legally in those countries, mainly in UAE, Dubai, and the agents determine the cost of the job. Because you do not get a job if you are getting it through an agent without paying. Payment must be done to those agents in order for you to get a job. And they determine the cost. These costs usually include the following: agent fees, air tickets, administrative costs. The cost varies from approximately $800 to $2,000, depending on the job category, country, salary, and required amount of agent fees. This is an area which has been controversial. Some people think that companies take a lot of money. You go to company X and they ask you, you're supposed to pay $1,500 in order to go to Abu Dhabi. And you think that's a lot of money because you assume that the money is being taken by that particular company, the local company in Uganda. And that is not a fact. The fact is most of that money is taken by the agent who is giving you the job. In other words, the job is being paid for. The contract varies mainly between 2 years to 3 years. But of course, if you go to Abu Dhabi, again, you're going to earn, if you're a security guard, you're going to earn $850 a month. So if you look at the cost, it can be recovered fairly quickly. In a few months, you'll have recovered that cost because the salary is fairly good. Now, when it comes to remuneration, yes, the cost varies approximately from $800 to the cost varies from approximately $800 to $2,000, depending on the job category, country, salary, requirements, agent fees, etc. In most cases, agent fees account for 50 to 60% of the total cost. Now, the salary remuneration depends on qualification and experience in relevant fields. All workers are provided with accommodation, transportation to and from work, and medical insurance as provided for by the law. Incidentally, most countries in the Middle East, they provide these benefits in the law, so the employers cannot do much about it. They are obliged to accommodate people, to give them insurance cover and transportation to and from work. We have tables that are coming below. Professionals earn between $1,000 to about $6,000, again depending on the category. We have two examples: restaurant managers, IT specialists earning between $2,000, $5,000 and $1,500, $5,000. There's a table there, I hope you can see it on the screen, indicating some of these, indicating this information in particular countries. If you take the example of United Arab Emirates, sales personnel, security guards earn between $600 to $900. Drivers earn $800 to $1,000. Factory workers earn $350 to $500. Catering, hospitality about $350 to $600 equivalent, because they have different currencies on the other side. That is United Arab Emirates. Qatar, security guards, and between $300 to $600. Factory workers, $350 to $600. Catering, $350 to $600. And when it comes to Saudi Arabia, factory workers earn between $350 to $700. Sales personnel earn about the same $350 to $700. And domestic workers earn between $225 to $500, plus meals and accommodation. All the other categories also have accommodation, and in some cases, meals are also included. Jordan, domestic workers earn $225 to $300. Iraq, so security guards earn between $500 to $1,000. Somalia, security guards, $500 to $1,000. Afghanistan, security guards, $500 to $1,000. Destination countries. The major destination countries, as mentioned earlier, are in the Middle East. These are countries where the economies are growing sustainably compared to our economies in sub-Saharan Africa, and therefore creating jobs. Furthermore, these countries have laws, policies, and structures that attract and sustain migrant workers. Other destinations include Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. The table again is there giving economic indicators in the major destination countries where our people go. Is it clear on the screens? We have some copies of this. I request the event managers to at least make sure that the people at the front here have those copies, the copies of the speech. The event managers have them. And then we have table 3, statistics on migrant workers in some selected countries as a percentage of the population. So these are statistics to show the percentage of migrant workers. They actually refer to them there as expatriates. Even when somebody is a cleaner, is considered as an expatriate. So you can see, for example, Kuwait, you have 76% of the population as foreigners, as foreign workers. Qatar, 74%. Kingdom Saudi Arabia, 33%, 33.6%. United Arab Emirates, 44.7%. Singapore, 19%. United States of America, 14.7%. German, 15.8%. United Kingdom, 11.9%. South Africa, 4.8%. So this is just to show you that a number of countries host our people and live with them comfortably. Remittances by migrant workers. Labor migration or placement as an industry is worth $613 billion worldwide. Currently, we have in Uganda here, we have over 70,000 people recorded. I'm talking about those recorded officially. And another 50,000 who left on their own working in the Middle East. I can give you an example of Oman. We have 20,000 people in Oman, but I know that about 80% of these are not recorded. So there are many Ugandans out there who are not recorded. The ministry may have over 70,000 in records, but there are many others who go on their own and manage to settle and work. Now, remittances, over $500,000 is remitted annually by these migrant workers, only from the Middle East. And another 870 is remitted from the rest of the world to Uganda. So Uganda gets in, according to the World Bank, $1,370,000,000 from all over the world. The tables are there again to show this is a substantial contribution to the economy. The push factor, as we all know, is poverty, because it's poverty that takes people out there to work. Of course, they primarily would want to work in Uganda, but as you know, our economy is not developed sufficiently to create enough jobs for our people. So that's why people decide to go outside and get employment in order to get rid of poverty. The next table 5 shows selected countries and remittances to their economies. Uganda is a small player, it's not a very big player. The big players are there, you can see on the graph. You have India, they get 77 billion annually from remittances. But of course they also have the population, because both India and China are around 1 billion people. So once you're 1 billion people, you cannot be compared to the 40 million that we are. You have India, 77 billion. You have China, $64 billion coming into their countries. You have Philippines, 33 billion. Mexico, 31 billion. Nigeria is the biggest in Africa. Of course, they have 200 million people. And a GDP, nominal GDP of about $450 billion. So it's a big country and it produces oil, but they also get 22 billion from remittances of their workers from abroad. You have Pakistan, 20.1 billion. You have Egypt, 20 billion. Indonesia, 10.5 billion. Nepal, 6.2 billion. Ethiopia, another African country, 4.6 billion. Kenya, 2.2 billion. Ghana, 2.2 billion. Uganda, 1.37. Tanzania is lower than us, 401 million. Rwanda, 181 million, and Burundi, 42 million. So as you can see from this graph, we're small players, but we're making progress. Because 3 years ago, we're not earning this amount of money, but now the graph is going up. We're making progress. Now, this brings me to challenges. Challenge 1 or A is adventurers, people who adventure on their own to find jobs, and in the end are not able to find these jobs. Some of them may find jobs. Like we have said, there are 50,000 who are living there on their own, but there are a number who don't find jobs, so they take the risk. And these, in most cases, when they don't find the jobs, then they fall into problems. They travel on the tourist visas, and many of them fail to get the jobs before the expiry of their visas. So sometimes they go underground. Others run out of money and get stranded, send messages on social media and cause public anxiety. Then the second problem is human trafficking. Due to lack of information about formal channels of getting employment abroad, many youths are lured by human traffickers who smuggle the victims and the victims end up in difficult situations in countries of destinations. You've seen people saying they have gone to Dubai and they have met people in Dubai stranded. Yes, we have all been most of us have been to Dubai. If you go to Bania Square, you'll find many people, South Africans, some Asians, Ugandans, they're all there, languishing in the sun, waiting for somebody to pick them up to go and work. So these are the people we're talking about. And then our third challenge is negative publicity. As a result of human trafficking and adventurism, or problems created by adventurism, the media portrays labor externalization as risky, dangerous, and fake. In order to mitigate these negative reports, Uganda Association for External Recruitment Agencies, UERA, has strengthened the Secretariat with robust public relations programs to enlighten the public about our sector. So we're doing something. This is one of the programs to move forward our campaign to enlighten and create awareness amongst the Ugandans to know that there are safe channels that one can go through in order to get employment abroad without taking any risk. Honorable Minister, distinguished members, distinguished delegates, allow me now to mention something about our appreciation. We appreciate the Ministry of Gender, Labour and External, the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and the personal effort of the Minister herself to introduce the EEMIS system This is the digitalization under the External Employment Management Information System, which is an online project introduction by the Ministry in collaboration to some extent with the Embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Uganda. That is one. And two, the operationalization of Musaned, introduced by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through the embassy here, which is a control and monitoring system introduced by the government of Saudi Arabia. Both systems have greatly improved operations and created more effective monitoring. These systems have revolutionized the entire process, made it transparent, clear, reliable, and efficient. We commend government through the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development for this crucial innovation. Can we give them a hand clap, please? Our gratitude goes to Honorable Janice Mkwaya, the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Pius Bigirimana, and the team of the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development for spearheading and operationalization of the innovation which has brought a new impetus in the sector. We appreciate the support that the government of Uganda has been extending to our association in terms of favorable policies, and given that this is a viable sector, we shall always be grateful for your continued support. We thank His Excellency the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Council, and other members of staff for their cooperation and support. In the same spirit, we are grateful to all countries in the Middle East which host and offer employment to Ugandans. Another clap for them, please. Now, we come to requests. We have some requests. Honourable Minister and your team would appreciate financial support in the form of a revolving fund, for example, to facilitate needy but qualified candidates to meet financial obligations and be able to enter the external job market. There are some qualified candidates who sit for interviews and pass those interviews for certain jobs, but they are not able to facilitate their departure. So we request government to do something about this. A revolving fund guaranteed by families of potential migrant workers could be introduced to cater for the deserving job seekers. Number two, in order to enhance protection of Uganda job seekers, these are Ugandan youths who seek for jobs abroad, we recommend the ring fencing of the sector, which will make only companies wholly owned by Ugandans eligible for licensing. Because here we've had some people, foreigners, come here, establish companies, take out people, and then disappear. So there's no, when the people get problems, there's no fallback because the companies are no longer here. There was a case reported widely in the press in the past about somebody who took people to Kuwait and then disappeared. And these were many in numbers. So we recommend that this area is sensitive. The companies should be wholly owned by Ugandans. And even in other countries, it's not easy for you to go to any country and open a labor externalization company. It's not. There are stringent measures that they follow. Number three, in order to widen the net of employment opportunities, we recommend introduction of a policy under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I don't know whether there are members of Foreign Affairs, people from Foreign Affairs here. In order, I repeat this because the minister, okay. In order to widen the net of employment opportunities, we recommend introduction of a policy under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to lobby for employment for our unemployed youth from fast developing and developed countries. In other words, we should not put all our eggs in one basket. We should not only focus on the Middle East, but we should also look outside, look into other possibilities, explore possibilities of getting jobs from countries like Singapore, South Korea, Malaysia, Japan, Canada, and others. We know some governments who are doing this, and they have been successful in securing jobs for their people in the above-mentioned countries. Number four, we request the government to revisit diplomatic accreditation in the Middle East and take into account proximity, geopolitical conditions on the ground, in order to make consular services more accessible by Ugandans resident in those countries. The example I would give here again is Oman, because Oman is very close to Abu Dhabi. It takes an hour to drive from Abu Dhabi to Muscat, but it takes about an hour's flight or more to fly from Riyadh to Muscat. And as you know, our people who go there do not have much money to spend, so it is very inconvenient for them to move to Riyadh and get consular services. It will be easier for them to get consular services from Abu Dhabi. And of course, as you know, our mission, our diplomatic mission in Riyadh, or what you refer to as the embassy, covers about 7 countries. And I think that makes it ineffective in terms of providing services to all the people in those areas. And yet, again, as we know, Saudi Arabia is the biggest country in the Middle East, and even covering Saudi Arabia alone is a major task. So adding on other 6 countries is a little too much for them. So we think there should be rationalization, there should be consideration of redistribution of the diplomatic missions in that area, distribution of accreditation in those missions around that area, so that we have more effective consular services given to our people. The awaited embassy in Qatar needs to be opened soon, considering that Qatar is a major destination for our youth and has great potential for investment into Uganda. We recommend that the government negotiates more bilateral labor agreements with more countries in order to improve on terms and conditions of service for Ugandans who are already deployed there and create more opportunities for others. Honourable Minister, at this point, allow me to talk about our achievements. One, setting up your Secretariat in March 2017. It's a new Secretariat, as you can see, March 17, just a year and a half ago, but we are doing very well. We have a solid, competent Secretariat. Are the members of the Secretariat here? Can you stand up for recognition? They are busy, moving up and down. Okay, we shall introduce everybody at the end. Honourable Minister. Now, establishment of a reception center in Entebbe that serves to receive, care, provide counseling of returned workers who may be socially or psychologically unstable. This unit is headed by a counsellor who should also be in this hall. Honourable Minister, this is a request, this is a requirement that was initially recommended by the Interministerial Committee that worked so hard to ensure that the ban was lifted, and we made sure that it's in place. Following your continued persistence and insistence that you needed to see it in place, we ensure it's in place, fully fledged in place in Entebbe, and we have staff already recruited to do that. Yes, the other one is, on average, we externalize close to 3,000 people, 3,000 youth every month who get absorbed into the job market abroad. So that is another achievement for this country. Now, our future plans. Future plans, plan number 1 is to acquire a piece of land and construct a warehouse so that we can transition from being tenants to landlords. At the moment, we are housed here in this complex. Our office is on the other block, BMK House, Suite 402. We are tenants here, and as you know, this is not a cheap place to operate from. So we feel that if we got our own area, we would make some savings for the future. Now, number 2 is to build and establish a vocational institute to train our candidates in various fields in conformity with the job market demands abroad. Number 3, we're doing training now through various training institutions, but this is one specific area. We'd like to expand to go into other areas, because the training institutions at the moment are concentrating on domestic workers, but we need to do more to also go into vocational training in other areas so that we we are able to facilitate our sector with skills, with more skills. We would like also in future to establish an online professional services to foreign companies by application of our information technology and provide employment to the IT graduates. This is happening in other countries, and a few companies are doing this. We can sit in Kampala and do accounting for a company in New York, and you get paid your money, in that way, that fashion. So we think in future we should be able to do that, because we already have IT specialists. The gentleman right here is an IT specialist. Yes, we have amongst ourselves IT specialists, young Ugandans, who can do this, and therefore we can employ them here when they are serving countries abroad. I now conclude, Honourable Minister and delegates, distinguished guests. Externalization of labour is complementary to the programs being implemented by the government for job creation and economic empowerment in Uganda. We commend the policy to promote foreign investment, industrialization, commercial agriculture, services and information technology as major avenues for job creation and economic development. We envisage labour externalization as a short and medium-term measure to curb unemployment during this period of socio-economic transformation and development. But we also recognize that in the long run, the beneficiaries of externalization of labour, in terms of inflows from remittances, will contribute greatly towards getting many Ugandans out of poverty. On behalf of UERA, Uganda Association for External Recruitment Agencies, the association that works hard every day to make our patriotic contribution to the growth of our national economy, we would like to reaffirm our commitment to supporting all government or private sector efforts aimed at transforming the lives of the people of Uganda. We hope that through this symposium that is intended to create awareness about our industry, Ugandans will leave here more enlightened and more appreciative of our efforts. We may have been walking slowly, but we have been moving forward. Sorry? Yeah, okay, I'm teaching you. We at UERA fully understand and recognize that if it wasn't for your leadership, the leaders of this government, and favorable government policies that create a conducive atmosphere to do business, the Ugandans now employed through our association would have missed out on the opportunity to contribute to our national development effort. For this enviable leadership, we thank you, Honourable Minister. We thank all the sponsors, mainly members of UERA. Honourable Minister, the major contributors are members of UERA. Can you clap for yourselves, please? Can you even stand up? All members of UERA. Those who own companies, externalization companies. Honourable Minister, these are the ladies and gentlemen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, who are the major sponsors of this function. Every company contributed money to make this happen. We thank all sponsors, mainly members of UERA. We thank the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and organizers, members of NOC, National Organization Committee, and the service providers. We had to engage a service provider. I thank all of these people for a job well done. May God bless you. May God bless Uganda.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce our executive. Can members of the executive please come forward? Members of the executive who are present, can you come forward here so that the people gathered here, these distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our guests here, know who are the leaders of UERA. Please come forward. I would like to see Mr. Ashe Chitande is our Vice Chairperson. The Secretary General, can you come forward? Secretary General is Haji Noah Muhammad Mayambala. The Treasurer, Mrs. Catherine Ochen Sabwe. We have Mr. Gordon Mjenyi, Committee Member, Executive Committee Member. We have the Legal Secretary. The Legal Secretary, please, can you come forward? The Legal Secretary is Lilian Mugerwa, Mrs. Lilian Mugerwa. We have Mr. Ezra Mujisha is a committee member. And we have Mr. Razak Hussein, who is a committee member. Is anybody missing? Oh, Irene Dubu. Oh, she's heavy. Okay, that's all right. These are the ladies and gentlemen. Oh, is she here? Irene, can you come forward? You are supposed to sit in front. She's a youth, and she's carrying another youth. So we shall excuse her. They are two in one. Okay. Very good. So this is the team. Sorry? Sorry? Yes. We have the Secretariat. I want to introduce the Secretariat. All members of the Secretariat, please come forward, including the reception center. Those who are here, quickly please, we are running out of time. ED and your team. Oh, they're not here. They are busy receiving people and so on. Okay, you will miss the opportunity next time. Oh, we have the counselor. The counselor is here in charge of the reception center. She's a professional counselor. She's worked in Butabika. She's worked everywhere. Butabika and so on. Hospitals and so on. Marjorie Mhinda. And yes, you're representing the other team. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. It's been a great honor for me and privilege to address this gathering. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can we clap for Mr. Andrew Tumwine Kamiraho? That's information sharing. 613 billion worth in placement. $500 million remitted annually by these migrants. 3,000 youth externalized every month. I think this is great. Honourable Minister, permit me to recognize the presence of His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Abdallah, Embassy of the Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who is with us. Thank you, Your Excellency. Allow me also, Honourable Minister, to recognize honourable members of Parliament who have joined us. Honourable members of Parliament, could you kindly wave to the people to know that you are here? Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Permit me now, Honourable Minister, to invite the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mr. Pius Vigirimana, who is also the accounting officer of the same ministry, to come and make a statement. Mr. Permanent Secretary.
Our chief guest, Honorable Janet Mukwaya, Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mr. Ali Abid, Chief of Mission, IOM, Uganda, His Excellency the Ambassador of Saudi Arabia, the leadership of UWERA, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome all of you to this symposium and expo on the externalization of labor, the first one of its kind. This is a public-private partnership between our ministry and the recruitment agencies. And I want to tell you that this is the beginning of a number of series of such high-level events and activities that will be part and parcel of our work on externalization of labor. Those of you who have been thinking that we are not serious, this is a clear indication that we are very serious. This symposium will provide an opportunity for us to engage and dialogue on labor externalization with a focus on disseminating the right information. We have been having a problem of communication. Not only information, but also legal and safe labor migration procedures that can protect Ugandans. We will review, we shall discuss and exchange the best practices between the government, civil society stakeholders, security agencies, recruitment agencies, on the key issues facing migration workers. And we hope to exchange knowledge on labor migration and develop practical solutions to the challenges facing the sector. And at the end of today, we should have become better equipped with the modalities for ensuring the protection of migrant workers, observation of their human rights and welfare in accordance with the international labor standards. As you may be aware, Uganda ratified the International Labour Organization Convention number 143, that's to do with the migrant workers, the Convention of 1975. We will continue to work with the ILO towards ratification of the Convention 97 on Migration for Employment Convention as revised of 1949. According to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics and Bank of Uganda, remittances by Uganda migrant workers in the Middle East alone were $224 million in the year 2016. And this shows how crucial the sector is to our economy. But there are a number of challenges that are associated with the externalization of labor. The chairman of UWERA has highlighted them, and I don't want to repeat them for the sake of really not wasting time. But he did not talk about the following: exploitation and abuse of rights of workers. And this includes contract substitution. We are told some of the contracts are signed, and when these young people reach there, they find different contracts. Non-payment or underpayment of wages. Physical abuse, especially of young women. Cultural and environmental shock to the migrant workers. And this is why we introduced pre-departure orientation, so that people can know where they are going. Like those going in the Middle East, some of them think that they can go there and get beer in Saudi Arabia or Iraq. Forget about it. When you go there, don't expect alcohol. Not even the plane taking you although you can enjoy alcohol on Emirates going to other countries, but when you are traveling to Riyadh, please know there is no alcohol on the plane. I must, however, hasten to add that the most vulnerable workers are those who have been deployed abroad by illicit labor exporters. And I want to use this opportunity to really advise young people to watch out, to only go out through companies that have been licensed. And these companies are on our website. And for the young people who are interested in going, can also contact us. We have given our contacts, telephones. Please use those telephones to find out. Exploitation has also been facilitated by lack of information in the public and even in government agencies about the safe channels of migration. But I'm saying we are here. And in response, we have stepped advocacy efforts jointly with UWERA. And in addition to the Ministry of Labor and Social Development, hold these quarterly meetings with key stakeholders, ministries, departments, and agencies which are involved in externalization of labor. And we have had some challenges outside Uganda, and three of the challenges include inability to trace and offer consular services, few missions, especially in areas where most of the migrant workers are deployed, and the staffing of Uganda foreign missions and embassies. But I would like to assure you that these challenges are not insurmountable. This is manifested by the measures that we are taking and the way we are planning to address all those pending challenges. And all this meant to promote safe labor migration and protection of rights of our people. And so far, since Honorable Janet Mukwaya came to the ministry, and I want to thank her in front of you. This lady here, don't joke with her. She's really very passionate. I like the way she does her work. When she's committed to do something, she will do it. Come rain, come sunshine. And I'm very happy that we have got a meeting of minds on many things we have done in that ministry. That's why the ministry is becoming a center of attraction. Not only the labor issues, but the youth issues, women issues, everything you see coming up is because we face in the same direction. And I want to really, for you to pray for us to continue working together. I would like to thank our colleagues from different ministries, departments, and agencies we are working with, especially the Director of Citizenship and Immigration Control, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, especially our embassy in Riyadh and Abu Dhabi. And I have seen Mr. Murekezi here. You stand up. This young man has done a lot. What was considered to be impossible is now possible in Saudi Arabia. Internal Security Organization, External Security Organization, the chieftains of military intelligence, the Civil Aviation Authority, to mention a few. But let me stress one very important aspect of our work. We have also come to appreciate the importance of this pre-departure training. My ministry is carrying out on-spot post-training and pre-departure evaluation for purposes of establishing authenticity and impact of this pre-departure orientation and training, as well as regular monitoring and evaluation of training companies. We are also in the process of revising the training curricula with the involvement of the ministry as well as the other relevant embassies and training institutions. While migrant workers still face difficulties when they arrive, pre-departure and arrival orientation provide them with the much needed information and knowledge. And that will go a long way in preparing them for the new lives in their destination. We are in need of labor liaison officers to be established, and we're going to do that and facilitate at border points like that in Busia, Chanika, Katuna, Kajitumba, Maraba, and Wakaka. We are also in the process of beefing up our externalization employment help desk at Entebbe International Airport, through which we support the migrants as well as intercept cases of trafficking. In a special way, let me thank the International Organization for Migration for the generous support extended to my ministry, which has already enabled us to cover a lot of ground through extra budgetary allocation. This support will go a long way in ensuring safe. Yes, I want to tell you that last week, our ministry team was in Jordan with support of IOMA. Thank you so much. The support will go a long way in ensuring safe and productive migration, and we thank you for that. I look forward to working with all of you in ensuring that we are all migrants safe, ensuring that we all make migration safe and productive. But let me warn you, because I have had experience of some of you who want to cut corners. I want to warn you, please kindly, if you are having that in your plan, don't do it. We want everything done in a transparent and a clear manner. We do not want people to come and start compromising my officers. And then, of course, there is this business of thinking that what you are doing is the only thing that these people do. Please give you time, the time that when you submit an application, you know that there is time allocated to that. And we have already estimated the time it takes from the time you submit your application to the time you get clearance. So please make sure you submit papers, submit them in time, and submit complete papers. Because the moment you submit half-baked papers, they come back to you. Then you start afresh. I want to thank you so much for coming to this symposium.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Permanent Secretary, Mr. Pius Bigirimana. He has been at the helm of sanitizing externalization of labor, and he deserves a better clap than that. Don't cut corners. Use only licensed firms. A caution, a strong caution at that. I would like to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that this function is live on NTV. So whatever you do, know you are being watched. And the MD, NTV, is here with us, Mr. Omar Johnson. Wave to the people. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. Our chief guest, Honorable Minister, permit me now to invite His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Abdallah Arukatan, Embassy of the Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, to come and make a statement. Your Excellency, sir. You can have this one. He's going to speak in Arabic, but he's an interpreter.
Yes.
So you'll be able to catch up with us. Some of you don't understand Arabic.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious, and peace and blessings be to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
معالي وزيرة العمل والأجناس الحاجة جنات مقايا.
Honorable Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development.
معالي وكيل الوزارة رئيس النقابة.
Honorable
وزير العمل.
Honorable Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development.
دكتور عبدي لمنظمة الهجرة.
His Excellency from the IMO, International Immigration Organization.
أيها السيدات والسادة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
بهذه المناسبة أود أن أعبر عن عميق شكري وتقديري لمعالي الوزيرة على دعوتي للمشاركة في هذا الاحتفال العظيم.
On this occasion, I wanted to extend my gratitude and thankful to the Honorable Minister for extending his invitation to me to attend this noble function.
وأنا سعيد لأرى هذا الإنجاز العظيم بعد توقيع الاتفاقيات بين البلدين الشقيقين.
I'm very grateful to see that I am attending this function after a long period which we have taken to sign an agreement between the two countries in regard to the labor immigration.
أيضا أنا أرحب بدكتور راشد سفير جمهورية أوغندا سابقا في المملكة لما كان له من دور جيد في إنجاح الاتفاقيات.
I also extend my thankful to His Excellency Dr. Rashid Semudu, the Ugandan ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for what he has done in regard to make this activity operational, because it has taken time.
أيها السيدات والسادة، في هذا اليوم وفي هذا الموقف لا بد أن أتحدث معكم بكل صراحة ووضوح.
Ladies and gentlemen, those who have attended this function, I wanted to inform you frankly in regard to this.
هذا الإنجاز الذي تحقق بتوقيع الاتفاقيات بين المملكة العربية السعودية وجمهورية أوغندا يعود الفضل بعد الله في هذا البلد إلى معالي الوزيرة التي بذلت جهود جبارة وزيارات متكررة إلى المملكة مع نظيرها وزير العمل السابق دكتور علي الغفيص وكافة المسؤولين حتى وضعت هذه الاتفاقية في حيز التنفيذ.
Frankly speaking, this achievement which we are experiencing today, it is in regard to it is in regard to what His Honorable Minister Janet Mukwaya has extended, because he has been visiting Saudi Arabia on several occasions in regard to the implementation of this agreement between this country and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in regard to the external immigration.
معالي الوزيرة بذلت جهود جبارة وزيارات متكررة حتى تم هذا النجاح العظيم وهذا الحضور الذي تحقق، وبذلك تحقق دخل إلى جمهورية أوغندا الشقيقة.
has made a lot of achievements in regard to this function, to this agreement, for the fulfillment of this agreement, for the frequent visits to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which has been taking time, and he has been making it tirelessly to its achievement.
إننا نعمل مع معالي الوزيرة وفريق العمل في وزارة العمل كفريق واحد، وبذلك كان تنفيذ هذه الاتفاقية كان يعني ناجحا بكل المقاييس.
In regard of what has transpired in regard to this agreement, the minister has done a lot of effort, and he has put a lot of effort with his colleagues to see that this agreement is successful, and also to see that everything goes well, and with the participation of the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in.
كل عمل لا بد أن تواجه عقبات، ولكن في هذا العمل الذي تحقق كانت العقبات بسيطة جدا، وبالتعاون بين الجانبين، بتعاون السفارة مع وزارة العمل ومع المكاتب ومع النقابة، يعني أزيلت كل هذه العقبات، والآن العمل يمشي ومستمر بكل يسر وسهولة.
As we know that whatever we do, we are facing a lot of challenges. We face a lot of challenges, but in regard to this agreement, which was done between this country and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, a lot of problems were narrow, were few, and people are just now enjoying in the tireless effort being done by his colleagues.
منذ بداية العمل في 18 أبريل 2018 تحقق إلى الآن يعني تأشير لمجموعة 13,107 تأشيرة عمالة يعني غادروا إلى المملكة.
Okay, since the inception of this agreement on the 14th of April 2017, a number of employees.
What's April 18.
April 2018. When this agreement was signed, a lot of employment jobs have been created, and many Ugandans have gone abroad, more than 13,107 of them. And also the visas have been issued to them, and they are working in Saudi Arabia.
في التزامنا بالاتفاقية لا يمكن للسفارة أن تؤشر أي تأشيرة إلا بعد إجازتها من وزارة العمل.
What is known now is that the Saudi Arabian Embassy in Uganda can't issue any visa without the authorization of the Minister of Labor, Gender and Community Development.
ونحن ملتزمين بتسهيل كل الإجراءات للشركات الأوغندية.
And also we make effort, and we are following each and everything in regard to the companies which are registered for employment purposes in this country.
نحن نلاحظ بعض الملاحظات على الشركات، ولكن الهدف هو لتحسين أداء العمل وليس للإيقاف أو تعطيله.
We are following a lot of employment companies, but whatever is being done, that is we are following the procedure to examine the existence of those companies, but we are not just making them to become harder on their side. We are just following the procedures laid down.
كما وعدنا معالي الوزيرة بأننا مستعدين للعمل ليل نهار لإنجاز التأشيرات، والتأشيرة في القنصلية تستغرق 24 ساعة مهما كان العدد.
As we committed with the Honorable Minister that in regard to the issuance of the visas, we are following the procedures agreed upon, and issuance of the visa doesn't take 24 hours at the embassy.
ونحن نتلقى أي ملاحظة بكل رحابة صدر.
And also, we are ready to receive any complaint in regard to the issuance of the visas or the other activities at the embassy.
وأنا أشكر جميع الشركات الأوغندية على تعاملها الجيد والمنظم والحسن.
And I extend my thankful to the Ugandan companies, the employment companies, for following the procedures laid down at the embassy.
أيضا لا ننسى أن نشكر زملائنا في سفارة جمهورية أوغندا في الرياض الذين يعملون ليل نهار لتذليل العقبات ومتابعة مواطنيهم في المملكة.
I also take my thankful to our colleagues at the Embassy of Uganda in Riyadh for their tireless effort to see that this work is being done properly.
أشكر أيضا الشركات السعودية على تعاونهم الجيد مع نظرائهم في أوغندا.
Okay, and also I extend my thanks to the Saudi Arabian employment agencies in coordination with the Uganda employment agencies so that to see that this work is going properly.
أشكر أيضا يعني بالذكر وأخص الأستاذ علي السويح مدير شركة إنجاز على حضوره الدائم ومتابعته الدقيقة لعمله فهو يستحق الشكر.
And also I extend my thanks to Mr. Aswaid for what he has done in regard to the successful of these activities.
معالي الوزيرة لا ننسى رجل يعمل بصمت ويعمل بجد واجتهاد وهو نائب السفير والقنصل الأستاذ بندر الفيفي والذي يعمل ليل نهار لإنجاح هذه الاتفاقية وتسهيل إصدار التأشيرات بكل يسر.
And I can't leave this to thank my staff who is working at the backyard, the consul at my embassy, for the work being done because he's the one who is making everything to be successful.
الأستاذ بندر هو موجود معنا في
He's called Mr. Bandar Al-Faifi and he's with us here.
معالي الوزيرة نحن نتعهد دائما بأن نعمل معكم وندعم كل الجهود التي تنجح العمل مع المملكة العربية السعودية وندعم الشركات أيضا لإنجاح عملها ونتمنى التوفيق للجميع ونشكر النقابة على عملها الرائع وتنظيمها لهذا الملتقى.
Honorable Minister, I want to extend this and to tell you that my embassy is working tirelessly to fulfill what we have agreed upon with the Uganda government, and also I would like also to thank this organization, the umbrella organization, which is putting together all the employment agencies in this country. And I promise that I will do whatever it is possible to make this work in progress.
شكرا مع الوزيرة. شكرا الحضور الكرام. السلام عليكم.
Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran, Your Excellency, the Ambassador. Thank you so much. Can we clap for the Ambassador once again? Among other things he has emphasized is speedy issuance of visas so that you don't lose business. We thank you and thank you and thank you so much. Let me now take this rare and singular honor to invite Mr. Ali Abdu, Chief of Mission IOM Uganda, to make a statement. Mr. Ali Abdu.
Honorable Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, His Excellency Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Dr. Abdullah Al-Khatani, the Chairperson, Uganda Association of External recruitment agencies, representatives from government ministries, departments and agencies, representatives from non-governmental organizations, ladies and gentlemen. It is a distinct honor and privilege for IOM and for me personally to be part of this labor migration symposium today. I was recently in Nairobi at the Regional Labor Migration Symposium, which brought together participants from all over the continent. I must say significant steps have been taken by African countries towards fostering safe and orderly labor mobility within and from the continent. Let me therefore begin by thanking the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development in partnership with the Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies for organizing this very important and timely meeting. I am confident the outcome will contribute to strengthening labor migration management in Uganda. As we believe in IOM, migration is an inevitable reality that has been with humanity since history can tell and can be a driver of development if well managed. The reality is that people move and will continue to move because of various driving factors, which include demographics, desire for better life, demand for labor, among others. Uganda is a typical example. The biggest proportion of this population in this country is young people, full of energy and aspirations. These aspects, met with demand for their labor and skills, not only in the country but in other countries as well, drive people to migrate. It is our belief, it is our collective responsibility to ensure that these people migrate out of choice and not out of necessity, and that they migrate in a safe, dignified, and orderly manner. The movement of people across national boundaries for the purpose of employment is an essential component of human progress and globalization. Labor migration offers opportunities for economic development, including through remittances and acquisition of knowledge and skills. Today, and increasingly, Ugandans are tapping into the opportunities that regional and international labor markets offer. Statistics show that remittances from Ugandan diaspora continent continue to grow. In 2007, it is estimated remittances contributed 5% of Uganda's GDP. On that note, I congratulate the government of Uganda for including labor migration in its second national development plan. I also thank the government for establishing a specialized unit at the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development to manage labor migration in Uganda. For countries of origin, labor migration can also be a complement for easing unemployment. These benefits, however, can only be fully optimized if people migrate in a safe, dignified, and orderly manner. When migrants are forced into irregular and unsafe pathways, they often face hardships, grave human rights abuses, falling prey to human traffickers. This leaves them vulnerable to exploitation during the journey as well as in the destination countries. Ladies and gentlemen, realizing the full potential of migration requires countries not only to put in place migration policies, but to implement well-managed migration policies, a goal that countries committed to in the Agenda 2030. If I may refresh our minds, target 10.7 of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, states, facilitate orderly, safe, regular, and responsible migration and mobility of people, including through the implementation of planned and well-managed migration policies. In view of this, we need to work collectively and in partnership to develop comprehensive policies and approaches to the governance of migration in order to promote opportunities for safe and dignified labor migration in Uganda. The Global Compact on Migration. Partnership and cooperation is not only needed at national level, but also between countries of origin, transit, and destination. To that effect, United Nations member states are in the process of developing a Global Compact on Migration, also known as GCM, which is expected to be adopted in December 2018. The GCM presents a critical opportunity for all countries to look forward to a common future in which migration is safe, orderly, and regular, and concrete steps needed to realize this vision. I would like to again thank the government of Uganda for its participation in the development of the GCM. In December 2017, Uganda held national consultations towards the GCM and has been participating in various regional and international consultative meetings on the Global Compact on Migration. And I must say that Uganda has been one of the first countries that has taken on this initiative. As a country, we need to start preparing for the implementation of the Global Compact once it has been adopted. In conclusion, while significant steps have been taken to improve labor migration in Uganda, more effort is still needed. Protection of migrant workers, a significant number of Ugandan women are employed in the destination countries. The very nature of domestic work creates complex labor protection issues, which increases vulnerability of the migrant workers to exploitation and abuse. There is therefore need to strengthen and streamline labor migration processes, structures, and mechanisms to ensure protection of migrant workers. Also, equipping young people with skills would allow them to take up jobs in formal sectors of the destination countries. Remittance transaction costs remain high. The SDG target is less than 3%. Moreover, a large proportion of these remittances are used for household consumption. Migrants need to be supported to direct these remittances into productive investment ventures back home. This could be through reduction of remittance transfer costs, enhancing mechanisms for investment, among others. As the Migration Agency of the United Nations, IOM is committed to supporting the government of Uganda to promote safe, humane, and orderly labor migration for the benefit of all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I thought he deserves a better clap than that. We thank you so much, IOM, for your partnership with the government of Uganda. One author wrote and said, if you want to move very fast, move alone. But if you want to go very far, move together. As government, we shall move with you to ensure that we create the badly needed impact that we need to create. Honorable Jova Kamateka, we welcome you. Thank you for joining us. He was very lonely. Thank you for being with us. Thank you so much. Can I request Inidi Nambuya to come closer to the awards that are going to be given out, as I now take the rare opportunity and pleasure to invite my permanent secretary, Mr. Pius Vigirimana, to come and invite the chief guest.
Now, Mr. Mondo thinks because I said I'm working well with the minister that he should even be the one to invite her. Okay, if that's what protocol dictates, may I have the pleasure to invite Honorable Janet Mukwaya, Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, to address you.
Honourable members of Parliament present, Your Excellency the Saudi Arabian Ambassador, Mr. Ali Abid, Chief of Mission OIM, Uganda, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, other senior government officials and departments, Mr. Andrew Kameraho, Chairperson, Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies, with the executive members and members, members of the Diplomatic Corps, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome you to this symposium on the externalization of labor. The one-day high-level event is a platform where participants engage in dialogue on labor externalization with a focus on disseminating the right information on legal and safe migration procedures, and thus ensure that the country harnesses the benefits of labor externalization. Let me quickly thank the chairman for a well-researched document, because at least now everybody who will take that speech will be a mobilizer in their own right with the statistics and the right information. I want to thank you very much. Welcome also to the Expo. I think Africana today, Hotel Africana today is seeing a mirage, because the Expo has invited many visitors who never have visited Hotel Africana. I would encourage all of you to go and also get more information from the Expo. The Expo is meant to create awareness of an opportunity available for our youth in Uganda to acquire legal employment abroad. Migration, as Dr. Abid said, is as old as humanity itself, and this is a fact of life, and it's not about to change. People will move either internally or externally. As for Ugandans, these people have been moving abroad primarily involuntarily as refugees, and now more and more in search of better pastures abroad, though we derogate it to Cheyo. I think I'm going to tell you a new name and a new status of migrant workers. For me, as Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, I'm providing a service, and I'm providing a product. That's why I have taken all this time to develop the product. I want the product called Ugandan migrant worker to be distinct and identifiable. So it is not any taka-taka. And I want also to submit to you all those people who are in this business and those joining the business, that we are dealing with people. And for the men who will never see a labor ward, I'm a mother and I have entered that labor ward many times. So these are people's children. These are people's voters. So you must handle them with extreme care. So anybody who is in this business, who does not mind about the welfare of the girls and boys whom we are sending abroad, you have no business in this industry. And I'm saying this is a young industry. We must nurture it. But in order to nurture it, we must avoid wolokoso. We must avoid malicious competition among members. Because private sector, you are motivated by profit. But I want to tell you, in this business, the first year, second year, and the third year, you must invest, because this is your business. The good thing is that I'm not your competitor. I'm a regulator. And I'm going to bid it to be a free player as a regulator, but you must also help me produce a service, an admirable service. competitive with others. And I want to also to say that for the 1 year I've been in this ministry and interacting with the labor destination countries, our workers are good. We need only to polish them. Ugandan has slow workers because everything is here. Why hurry? So we need to improve on speed. But many of the girls, women were not normally thieves. So that is a virtue, which is good for our export. We only have to work on those boys who disorganize our girls, promising marriage and good what. Once we sort those out, I think the business will be good. We have since mainstreamed this process through the externalization of labor program, regulated by a statutory instrument, as stated earlier. And in this regulation, it's only licensed private companies, and now the chairman is demanding that they should be Ugandan. So the director and the PS will look through that and see how feasible it is, but we have taken note. Which to date, numbered 105 are licensed to source and formally place Ugandans to work abroad. As of now, Ugandan migrants are mostly employed in the Gulf cooperating countries of Saudi Arabia. Those that are in Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, and Oman are there on their own because we don't have any bilateral arrangement with them. But we are working around the clock because you cannot have 33,000 Ugandans in Oman and you don't make an effort to regularize. You cannot have so many Ugandans in Kuwait and you don't bother about these Ugandans who have externalized themselves. So we are working with the Minister of Foreign Affairs to see that we speed up bilateral arrangements with these countries so that we can regularize. By 2010 to date, we have externalized between 90 to 100,000 workers who have been placed, either by themselves or by government. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the positive benefits of migration, as stated by both the PS, the chairman, we have a number of challenges that we in Uganda are working around the clock to address. Suffices to say, these aren't all going to be resolved today, tomorrow, or even next year. We shall continue to work. The first area is the multi-billion-dollar trafficking in person business, from which a Ugandan hasn't been spared. For us, as Uganda, the main transit point has been the porous borders through which our people find themselves into mainly the Middle East, from where they engage in all sorts of odd jobs. While a number of potential victims get picked up almost on a daily basis, that's just a tip on the iceberg. It is the perpetrators who are the real criminals. Ignorance on the part of the potential victims and their relatives is another problem. In this regard, we have embarked on a program towards awareness raising in the border districts to promote promotion of community vigilance, as well as monitoring and reporting of suspected victims of trafficking in person within the border communities. Working with both political, civic, and security structures will go a long way in the fight against trafficking in persons. And the Ministry of Internal Affairs is strengthening the department that handles human trafficking. As I informed you above, we were in Jordan only last week. However, the hottest spot where we need immediate action is Oman. We have suspended any labor externalization to the country due to the many cases of violation of migrant workers' rights. Yet, despite the warning signals, we have a sizable number of Ugandans, as I stated above, living and working in Oman. And what is interesting, that we have highly placed Omanians who were born here, were schooled here, but now in government. And we still have a big, sizable population of Omanians in Iganga, Mayuge, and Kamuli. So they are with us here. So that's why trafficking to Oman is a job to do. We have therefore resolved that a fact-finding technical commission be sent to Oman to study the situation and report to us before we make any political decision as to what must be done. This mission will be undertaken before the end of this year. Ladies and gentlemen, to ensure that migration is both safe and productive, we have adopted a number of measures, including but not limited to the following: that Uganda will only export to countries where we have bilateral agreements. So for now, we only have the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Kingdom of Jordan. Secondly, that only duly registered companies can recruit migrant workers and place them abroad. Thirdly, only companies accredited by the Ugandan mission abroad can recruit domestic workers. That contracts of domestic workers are reviewed by our missions in the host countries. That a four-party employment contract which makes recruitment companies in Uganda and recipient countries jointly and severally liable in this place. That mandatory pre-departure orientation and training program has been introduced for all female domestic workers and is being extended gradually to all workers who are going abroad. All job processes, licensing of recruitment companies, renewal of licenses, job order approvals, vetting of migrant workers, and monitoring, these are all online now. For national coherence, my ministry works jointly with other line ministries because migration is a multi-sectoral. The passports are in one ministry. The citizenship is another ministry. The airport is handled by Ministry of Works. Security must vet. So we have decided that we should have a ministerial subcommittee composed of Ministry of Internal Affairs, including the police, migration, foreign affairs, Ministry of Works and Transport, local government, because you crop these children from the local governments, public service for structural amendments of our structures, the East African community, so that we must mobilize Kenya, Tanzania, and others which are conduit countries, and all security agencies. A labor liaison office has been established in Riyadh, and arrangements are underway to open in other receiving countries. Can I take this opportunity to invite Haji Yassin to present himself so that everybody must see? This labor liaison officer was properly recruited by Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So for those who have been having other stories, you learn it from me now that the labor liaison officer was hired and placed by Foreign Affairs. 2 bilateral labor agreements between Uganda on one party and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Hemashed Kingdom of Jordan were signed. We are also at various stages of negotiating and signing agreements with the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and we shall continue, Mr. Chairman, to pursue those countries that you have listed. However, let it be known that agreements are one thing, but their implementation calls for continuous monitoring and evaluation if we are to ensure that they are on track. During my monitoring visits to the Kingdom of Jordan last week, we came face to face with this reality that on the same flight that took me, there are 15 trafficked girls. So trafficking is a reality. So now we have to investigate who is doing it, who is receiving these girls on the other hand, and the government of Jordan promised, because we gave them evidence, that 15 other Ugandans are just picking their luggage. So get them to know what happened, how did they get here, and who is receiving them. So we start from there. In a word, there is need for commitment on both sides of the spirit and letter of the bilateral labor agreements. Moreover, periodic visits and meetings help assess whether the objectives of the agreements are being met. And here I want to register as government our sincere appreciation to the government of Saudi Arabia. And on a special note, we want to thank the former ambassador, Ambassador Semudu. Haj, you stand for recognition. I think it was December of 2006. We really worked tirelessly visiting these girls in winter, late in the night, and the ambassador was very, very useful. I must also mention that I think, Mr. Chairman, you must get somebody, your members must learn Arabic if you have to interface with these markets. Your English is good, but you see, you come closer if you knew some Arabic, at least for greeting and discussion. A weak point in most agreements is that joint implementation committees are not always in place. From the monitoring visits we have so far carried out, it is clear that these committees must be set up and get ready to work on day one of its formation. So I'm requesting the PS to follow this one seriously. I therefore urge government representatives here, headed by the PS, to ensure that this is done. At home, we continue to face human resource shortages due to the ever-expanding size of the externalization of labor sector. The Employment Services Department, under which the externalization of labor is situated, always needs extra hands, and yet the budget is not elastic. That's why I want to thank the chairman and members of UERA for having accepted to eat into your profits to help the ministry and government to put up some of the things that would be for government. You need to clap for yourselves. Likewise, we need more experts in our diplomatic missions in the destination countries for this matter, and this is a matter of urgency. I want to caution that this business handles people, not immovable property. It is a service and provides products. Therefore, it's my humble appeal that all you members of UERA must handle the welfare of these individual workers as a must. It's not negotiable, it's a must. In a special way, I want to thank the executive of UERA and the members for accepting to be regulated. I'm happy that most of the things we have agreed on have been put in place. I want to thank honorable members of my committee in Parliament, the Committee of Gender, for their support and understanding. I want to thank in a special way the Right Honorable Speaker for understanding this business, because each time I go to her, brief her, and she really appreciates and understands. At this point, let me pray. Pay special tribute to the IOM, ILO, and a number of NGOs for their support in ensuring safe, productive immigration. I want to thank all Ugandans who have paid special attention to this business and who have helped us actually also be passionate about it. We want to thank you very much. But I want to appeal that after this meeting and the expo outside there, try as much as possible to pick the correct information so that we can be in this business together. What drives me to do what I'm doing? Uganda has a youthful, educated population which is unemployed. So an opportunity to create employment is what drives me. So I want all of us, if you have issues, you suspect, you are not comfortable in the next session, please, 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 open up. When we go into the discussion, tell us what is itching you. What is it that you don't understand? Where have I delayed you? What has happened? I can only promise you that I'm a hard worker, I'm honest, but I'm rule-based also. I don't want panya-panya. So if you are panya-panya, you don't come to me. Yes, that is my biggest problem. And I want to thank my PS, my director. Yes, Director Labor, where are you? Yes, the commissioner, and my young friend Emma. Is Emma here? Oh, it's very unfortunate. That young man, Emma, no, Emma, come here. Don't hide. Come. Yes. That young man. If all young Ugandans were like that young man, because you private people, you are very tempting. You are very tempting with your dollars and whatnot. You come and report, you see Emma has not cleared me. No. Only to find that Emma has only one head, 2 hands, and he has only 12 working hours. So Emma, really, we want to thank you, me and the PS and the rest. Keep the industry moving. Yes, Director, I have already thanked you. Yes, but you know you are up there, you are not in the engine. All the temptations face Emma and the department. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank our visitors. You are welcome. I want to thank you for your time, because now you are going to understand the business. But let the driving factor for all of us be that this is an opportunity. This is a milking cow. Let us nurse it. Let us give it water and grass, and the sky is the limit. I thank you all for your attention, for God and my country. Now, I want to tell you that, Mr. Chairman, you had invited the President, but you are aware that today the day collided with 2 other major important activities. As Ugandans, we are celebrating today that we are getting a new bridge. So I think that is also important. And we are also having another activity which is also important for us. But I want to assure you that if Cabinet and His Excellency did not agree, you wouldn't be doing business. So be comforted that he authorized that we do export, and I will create an opportunity for you to meet His Excellency. But for today, enjoy whatever has been provided and pray for the bridge. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honourable Minister. Please clap more. Clap. Clap. Thank you. Thank you so much, our chief guest. the Honorable Minister Hajat Janat Walunzi Mukwaya. We have walked a journey, and a number of people have made this journey a little easier than it would have been. It's therefore fitting, Honorable Chief Guest, that people who excel are awarded. UWERA has organized awards that are going to be given to a number of people who are present here. The chairperson, Mr. Andrew Tumwine Kameraho, chairperson UWERA, will be giving out these awards. My duty is going to be to mention the name, and when your name is mentioned, you step forward and the award is given to you for the contribution you have made towards sanitizing externalization of labor in Uganda. Mr. Chairperson, okay, thank you. We are going to use a down to do the award. The Honorable Minister, together with the chairperson, facilitated by Enid and the vice chairperson, Lydian Kenemugera, the legal advisor of UWERA, will be announcing the names and the awards will be given out. Kenemugera, karibu.
Honorable Minister, diplomatic officials, all with due respect, protocol observed. Let's proceed in the interest of time to the award ceremony. The first award goes to Mr. Ali Saleh, who is one of our partners who has helped the Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to pilot out a model for Saudi Arabia recruitment agencies, where if we are deploying Ugandans, we have supervisors in the recruitment companies who are responsible for responding and also addressing some of the cultural issues that we may be faced with. Mr. Ali, I'm informed, has deployed 1,000 Ugandans since March, Feb 2018. Our next award goes to Mr. Yassin Abdelaziz. I personally met Mr. Abdallah Yassin Abdelaziz, and I must admit I wasn't into taking people to work abroad, into especially domestic work, until we were able to be convinced that in Saudi Arabia, if you have a prominent monitoring mechanisms, everything is okay. Our third award goes to Mr. Daniel Mulekezi, Second Secretary. He used to be Second Secretary to our embassy in the Kingdom of Riyadh. 2 years ago, he played a very significant role in counseling our young people who are in Saudi Arabia and ensuring their safe return to Uganda and enabling them remain in employment that side. Thank you very much. Our next award goes to Mr. Habib Migade. I'm not sure whether he's here. Okay. Who is the first secretary at our Uganda embassy in Riyadh at the moment. He's made significant contributions in keeping us on our toes, ensuring compliance, and that we continue to develop the sector. Thank you very much in absentia. Our next award goes to Mr. Moses Binoga, who is the person responsible for anti-human trafficking in Uganda. He's been managing the single-man-led anti-trafficking unit in the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and he's done a great job in assisting our young girls not to be trafficked, to be safely returned, and a lot of that work. Our next award goes to Mr. Martin Wandera, Director of Labour, Employment and Occupational Safety and Health. Martin has played a significant role in enriching policy, enriching regulation for the few years he spent at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Thank you so much, Martin, for your contributions to the sector. Our next award goes to Dr. Sheikh Ambassador Rashid Semudu. He has been the person who has opened our doors more to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He speaks Arabic, but also was able to explore opportunities to challenge the idea that actually it is safe for housemaids to go into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and work in there. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your contributions. Our next award goes to Mr. Pius Bijirimana, who is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. A lot has happened since Mr. Pius Bijirimana and Martin came to the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Thank you very much, Mr. Pius, for your contributions. Our next award goes to His Excellency Dr. Abdallah Fahad, our ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Uganda. Your Excellency, we value so much your contributions, your enlightenment, and also enabling us to appreciate your culture more. Thank you very much. Our next award also goes to the Embassy of the Royal Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has been working with the government of Uganda with different staff, so their contributions have varied according to who has been in the office, and we cherish and appreciate those contributions. Our next award goes to the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates. We have so many Ugandans who have been deployed in the United Arab Emirates. It's one of the major markets in the Middle East, which is the most famous destination for our people at the moment. Our next award goes to Honorable Janat B. Mukwaya, the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, 1, for lifting the ban on externalization of housemaids in Uganda to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. She has played a significant role in educating Ugandans, engaging Cabinet, engaging His Excellency the President, to create awareness on the fact that there are opportunities everywhere which we need to tap as Ugandans for our young population. Okay, thank you very much. The last one. Okay, in absentia, as Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agents, we honor His Excellency, the President of the Government of Uganda, His Excellency General Richard Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, 1, for providing a regulatory environment within which we can operate as recruitment agencies, but also for giving the space to the Honourable Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development for her team to be able to do some innovations and test out opportunities in the sector of labour externalization. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just one request, Honourable Minister. All the awardees would like to take a picture here with you before we move to the next step, which will be another picture with all of us by the swimming pool before we go to the expo. We shall remain at the expo for 30 minutes. Then we come back here for a keynote presentation on safe and productive migration by Grace Mukwaya Lule, Executive Director, Platform for Labour Action, followed by the high-level panel that will be chaired by Honourable Minister Mukwaya and moderated by my colleague, Commissioner for Employment Services, Mr. Lawrence Egulu. Our lunch will be exactly 5 minutes past 2. So we shall have our business until 5 minutes past 2. But while other people are at the expo, there is tea somewhere outside. We shall have a cup of tea. Can I now recognize all those who have sponsored NTV, Kautha, Uera, Uganda, and all of you who have prayed for us to have this function look the way it is and the way it's going to be. Can I now invite all our Can I have all the awardees step forward very quickly so that we take a group photograph with the Minister? Honourable Minister, I want also to report to you that while we were proceeding with the function, your colleague, Honourable Peace Rex Mutuzo, Minister of State for Gender and Cultural Affairs, joined you. Can you kindly wave to the people? Thank you, Honourable Peace Mutuzo, for coming. All those who have been awarded, we have just 5 minutes just to take the picture. Then the Minister will continue to go to the expo where we shall spend 30 minutes. Then we come back for more discussions. If I were you, I would have come with my award. For a photo. Fine. No, you come with a word. After the awardees, I will have the executives of UERA join in to take photograph with the Honorable Minister. The entire team of Mr. Andrew Kameraho, you are going to take a picture. Executive of UERA, join in, followed by, if you know you work with Minister of Gender, Labor and Social Development, you better come very quickly. Ministry of Gender team, after this, you come very quickly, led by Director, Commissioner, Mr. Onapa, Diana, and all the team from Simbamanyo House. Just one more group, Minister of Gender team, very quickly. And I think I belong there. This comes once in a lifetime, so you better come very quickly. The last one, Honorable Minister, will be UERA members, just one per company. UERA members, I know you are about 100 companies, just one per company. UERA members, just one per company. If I were you, I would move very fast. You know, with us, externalizers of labor, we are very fast. UERA members. Okay, my team, you can now shoot. Director Labor, can I kindly request you that you lead the high table to the expo, but before that, just one announcement. Mugabe, Franka Mugabe, make an announcement. As Mr. Martin Wandera, Director Labor and Commission Employment Services,
Thank you, Mr. Mondo. Your Excellencies, the ambassadors, the Honorable Minister, Emirates, the airlines, is offering everybody here an opportunity to win yourself an air ticket today. All you have to do is get your business card like this and drop it in a box we have stationed at the entrance as you get in behind there. You will see a long banner of Emirates Airlines behind there. Please make sure you drop your business card there. You could win yourself an air ticket before we leave this venue. The last one, the discussion is ongoing about this conference on social media. It's very strong. Please engage and follow into this discussion on the hashtag Labour Expo 2018. The hashtag again is Labour Expo 2018. Engage in the discussion, or you could easily log on to follow what's being discussed. Thank you so much.
So Mr. Mugabe will accompany the director. Mr. Mugabe's job is to take you to the swimming pool for the photograph, and I request that you move fast so that you are there even before the minister. You move very fast to the swimming pool for the photograph. Barbara Asasira, personal assistant to the minister, see Mr. Wandera immediately. We are coming back at 12:30. Thank you so much, all of you. And thank you, Mr. Chairman, for putting this together. Thank you so much. So let's move to the swimming pool. Swimming pool for a group photograph. Then we continue to the expo in the people's space. Thereafter at 12:30 we start a keynote presentation on safe environment for migration. Thank you so much. DJ, give us. The IT team of the hotel, kindly come and assist me. We want to put the PowerPoint. IT team of the hotel, kindly come and assist. Thank you. Can I have everybody go to the swimming pool? Diana YRP, Minister of Gender, can you present your face to the swimming pool? Commissioner Mugisha Daudi, can you move to the swimming pool? Can I request everybody? Chairman Yowera, we need you by the swimming pool for a group photograph. Without you, the function wouldn't have happened. Thank you. Dankeschön.
Fire, baby.
When it comes to spending time with your loved ones, or running your business, or chasing your hustle, nothing should interrupt you. Introducing DFCU Quick Banking, our all-new e-banking channels designed to help you access your account on your mobile phone, tablet, or computer at any time from wherever you are, so you get to live your life uninterrupted. Switch to DFCU Quick Banking and experience how we're making more possible for you.
DFCU, with pleasure.
Travel Tips is brought to you by Jumbo Jet. Kenya, don't just seal the deal. Get those signatures in person. 2 flights daily from Entebbe to Nairobi, starting from $120. Travel Tips was brought to you by Jumbo Jet. Now you can fly.
I'm Dr. Mirembe, and this is the NMS Health Moment. Are you tired of making unnecessary trips to see the doctor? You simply have to take charge of your health today. Maintain personal hygiene and sanitation. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water after every visit to the toilet and before eating. Avoid contracting and transmitting disease-causing germs. Make sure that the water you drink is boiled so that you don't end up suffering from diseases like diarrhea, dysentery, cholera, or any other waterborne diseases. Prevention is better than cure. Be responsible. Live healthy.
This health tip is brought to you by National Medical Stores with support from the Ministry of Health. NMS, passionate about your life.
Mujewali, I'm helping Ugandans make the smart choice. Why choose this powder?
It cleans just like any other ordinary detergent.
Ariel gives you better stain removal in one wash, even with less powder.
It can't be.
Observe grass, tea, and chocolate drink.
I'll need 1, 2 handfuls.
And just 1 handful of Ariel. See? Better stain removal with only 1 wash.
It's the smart choice for sure.
Ariel removes tough stains in 1 wash.
The Uganda Wash Media Awards 2018 Gala Dinner will take place on October 26, 2018 at Imperial Royal Hotel, Kampala. This will be held under the theme Rewarding Excellent Reporting on Water, Sanitation and Hygiene. The chief guest will be the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda. Sponsorship and dinner tables opportunities are available. For more information and bookings, call 0772 232 117 0786 022 881 0754 563 272. Uganda Wash Media Awards is sponsored by WaterAid, Ministry of Water and
You can allow them to enter.
Remove the shoes?
No.
Because when they come to the training center, this is representing the bedroom. When you are in our own training centers, we do much more. This is representing the girl which is in a home, or somebody who needs help. And when they come to our centers, we give a lot to men in first aid. And we have next week.
It's sophisticated. Yes.
Most families we have young children. We are giving a representation of what we train the children about, right from bedtime to feeding, walking, handling the management of toys, like lamps which can be a danger. Some of our training centers display a lot of
Can there be another member to take us through?
Ask one of my members to take over from the dining. Right. We also train them on how to use the dining area, how to use the cutlery, how to organize a table, and any other protocols concerning the dining table and what dining area. At the same time, we have the kitchen area.
And can a man will take us through the kitchen area?
Honorable Minister, so when you are training them, do you give them comprehensive training, or you already know who is going to work as a babysitter, or who is going to work as a group?
It's a general training.
It's a comprehensive.
Yeah, I'm very prepared to take you through my kitchen. In terms of the kitchen, we train them all the way because, you know, the people here in Uganda don't know some of these equipment. So we take them through knowing how to clean, for instance, starting from the fridge, knowing what to put where, for instance, where to put fruits and vegetables not on top of the meat, or, you know, how we manage the fridge. Then from there, how and what to put in the microwave. Not plastic plates to be put in the microwave or silver plate for that matter. Then we take them through the use of all these gadgets, the juicers and the kinds, to make sure the ironing, how to make a good ironing of their clothes, and to make sure that different fabrics use different temperatures, such that when they get there, they don't spoil the process clothes. And of course, using of the cookers, the gas cookers, the electric cookers, we take them through all that. Yeah, and then from there, we go into the cleaning of the toilets and the cleaning of the house, where, what kind of, for instance, when we are talking about using the tape and film, where should this be applied and the whole of that is the opposite
welcome you to the expo, the first symposium and expo. And we'd like you to kindly, as our guest of honor, cut this ribbon to declare this expo open. And just give us a few words.
I want to thank you for having actualized our dream that we want to make Ugandans understand that this is a very good business, but we must manage it well. So I want to appeal to the press that capture as much information about this business as possible so that you can correctly inform those young people who are desperate. I don't want any Ugandan from today to be trafficked because the information is here. Thank you very much. It's opened by me and the ambassador for Saudi Arabia, the chairman, and the permanent secretary. Congratulations. It was the ministry.
But this is the way now.
Yes.
So these are the jokes. And our young ladies are there. They can explain the trials. She worked in Saudi Arabia for 2 years as a domestic worker.
Yes, she has been on the stream.
For 2 years, a domestic worker. There was a
And we work towards that, so we follow procedures, we follow a human rights approach, as well as a livelihood approach, where we are talking to the young people who want to take a vote. We believe we are one of the leading companies in Uganda who are enabling young people take jobs. But we also employ young people. I have a young team I work with.
About how to make your dream come true? We introduce to you Coral Coatings Uganda Limited, manufacturers of all types of paints for both